you're live. Okay. So I don't know how to make this a little bit bigger and better. Um, Maybe if I click on this, increase it like that. Alex, that is in a meeting, okay? Thank you, baby. All right, so that's all I can do right now. Okay, time is 10:02, and I'd like to welcome everybody. This is a Falcon Community Hangout. Usually, we do these hangouts on Saturdays and a lot earlier, or a lot later, rather, like midday. But it seems that the Falcon team has shifted towards Europe mostly, so I'm the only one on this side of the pond. So we're starting a lot earlier. Um, Welcome to everybody that is currently on the stream and watching this. So this is gonna be our community hangout for today, September the 6th, and it is it is a hangout to give more assurance to the community that the project is alive. Excuse me. We're actually uh, we're actually doing stuff, and we haven't abandoned anything. So that just to give you an assurance of where we are. Just because people do not see what is going on behind the scenes, and they don't see a lot of work or a lot of discussion on the repositories, that doesn't mean that we're not doing stuff. Okay, so all right, let's go. The agenda for those that um, have watched our hangouts in the past, it's pretty much the same as before. First of all, we have a small introduction, and then a welcome to everybody that is attending. A thank you, of course, to the community as always. Status update, and we got new blood and a V4 and V5 plans of what we're doing, and of course Q&A. As before, we usually do not keep the Q&A part very strict at the end. We usually just uh, ask questions and hold on what we're talking about and answer questions. So whoever has any questions, by all means, let's ask them away. And hello to Edgar's. Uh, he's also from Europe, I believe, in the chat. All right, so you guys have seen this chart numerous times. It is again a thank you to our community that support us and follows us in all the media, the social media platforms that we have a presence on, and of course we wouldn't be where we are without our community. It's you guys that are driving this project and make us uh, try as hard as possible to offer you a quality product that you can use with your applications. Also, as always, huge thanks to those that have been translating documentation. Um, we had quite a few requests to join our teams to translate documents in Russian, Malaysian, Tagalog, and other languages. Thank you so much to everybody. And so it's time to say welcome to Rio. Rio has been a contributor or a critic or user, all that for quite a long time. He was pretty much around the time that I started with Falcon, and we have interacted many times in the past. He has a big focus on UX and UI, which is great because he can help us with his expertise along with Rude on the UX UI part of Falcon, not necessarily only as the views, but also as creating functionality that could potentially be used as a template for people to build applications. It has been requested many times to create some sort of a one-click command to, press a button or whatever, and then you have the skeleton of, let's say, an Angular application that has a Falcon backend, or a Vue application that has again a Falcon backend. Um, Root has tried with Vueify or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the name was, but it was Vue, and he made a Docker image for me, and I did manage to have with literally with one command and Docker images everything that I needed, but it wasn't very easy for me. Other people will find it definitely more easy, but um, enough with the blabbering. We welcome Ryu. He is going to be helping us with all these issues that we want with the UX UI and helping the community. As I said, click a button, so to speak, and have a sample application ready for them to just expand and keep on going. And also, he will be helping with everyday arrangements and the organization of the repos, as well as when we start translating fully the code from A to B, from Zephyr to PHP. He's also going to help with that. Very much into Agile. And you guys know it, at least since this year or a little bit before. I think we have the sprints that we have been working on, just trying to get everything a little bit more organized for us. So welcome, Ryu, and you know, many more good stuff to come from you. We also have this young gentleman as well. It's Tac. I always mess up his name. It's Tactix88. So I usually call him TX, which is easier for me. His name is Clement. He is our Frenchie of the team, and he's got over 5 years experience. As you can see, he's been mostly in DevOps, sysadmin, with Phalcon since 2017, so kind of like a young adopter. He does have UX UI experience, but also worked and works on Docker and virtualization, and also on a daily basis he works with Mongo databases. So he has been an invaluable resource on the MongoDB adapter. As a matter of fact, he pretty much single-handedly wrote the whole implementation of the new Mongo driver for Phalcon 4. And we did have an issue, a serious issue that we hadn't fixed before now, bringing the Mongo functionality from that branch anyway to the main application. If you guys recall, we talked about this before. If you do that, then you're gonna require Phalcon to load the MongoDB PHP extension before Phalcon loads, which is something that we didn't want. But Clement has been instrumental in writing all that code, and I'm pretty sure that now that we're going towards the pure PHP solution, he's gonna come up with some magic. Oops, sorry. I think the last discussion we had before we started is whether he want whether we wanted him to start working on translating all the validators from Zephyr to PHP. But that is something that we will have to do um, internally, and assign different different tasks for everybody, right? So sorry about all these little pings, things to happen here, notifications. So we have an update for version 4. It is still here. We haven't abandoned the project. We're still monitoring it. We did get quite a few pull requests throughout the repositories, and they're being monitored. We have a lot of things to iron out. We did try to have an overview of what we will do. and it is a lot of stuff. So the decision was that the 4.0.x branch will be kept uh, for bug fixes. And as a matter of fact, we could potentially move straight up to 4.1 because whatever we have with 4.1 exists in whatever we have with 4.0.x exists in 4.1.x. So it makes sense to keep one branch. Most likely, we are going to keep the 4.1 and not even bother with the 4.0. But for now, we just have both of them. There will be no NFRs added to the 4.1 branch. We will make sure that we fix the most critical bugs, and we will ensure that the community knows what is going on. But the focus is to get five out of the door, but not spend a lot of time on 4.1. 4.1 was going to be the branch where we introduced a lot of NFRs, a lot of things that the community wanted, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that. As a result, we're going to do as much as we can in terms of bugs, stabilize everything, and introduce 4.1.0, and perhaps then 4.1.1 if we see any bugs or any security issues or anything like that, and focus straight up to V5. Okay. Uh, in our last discussion, Rude was going to take the initiative, and I know that he has quite a lot of work to do, but he was going to take the initiative, and the rest of us will help to go and label each issue that we have in the C Falcon repository. And by doing all these labels, fix, won't fix, and all that stuff, we will have an additional information towards the community. We'll, keep everybody up to date on what's going on. When we're gonna release, we do not know. Um, that will depend, of course, on the previous bullet point where we're labeling all the issues and then we have to fix them and so on and so forth. From the last time that I checked GitHub, which was a few days ago, there weren't that many issues pertaining to V4 that were very, very difficult to fix or to address. I know that there are some of them that are Zephyr related, and we will not be able to fix those. Uh, I remember one of them, and I don't know if it was fixed. If a field is prefixed with not, for instance, notifications, the PHQL parser thinks that it's the word not, so it doesn't address it, and that is that is a C issue slash Zephyr, which is extremely difficult for us to fix. Uh, of course, as we mentioned before, we will contact Sergey, see if he has a little bit of time to help us with that, but that's not going to happen on a regular basis. Unfortunately, Zephyr will be frozen until uh, somebody, some people from the community, maybe a company or whoever wants to, and has the ability to support it. We can't right now. Okay. Let's see now on the new stuff that will come up on the update on V5. We have made a small repository. It's called Phalcon instead of the Phalcon C Falcon that we used to use. And what we're gonna do also, and this is Anton started doing a little bit of research as well as Ryu. So Jackerson and Ryu. There is an investigation on Symfony, Yi, Laravel, and all that stuff. There you go. I made it a little bit better. It wasn't very legible. So investigate those three projects to see how they organize the repositories with regards to the submodules. I believe Laravel and Symfony as well as Yi. I think what they do is every namespace is its own repository, and then when they do a release, they pull all the code as submodules from from the small repositories, the sub repositories, and then they put it into the main one. So the main repository pretty much has folders which are sub modules, Git sub modules that point to different additional repositories. So that's how they do it. We need to figure out exactly what the release mechanism would be. It should be kind of like a one click for us, and we can just do our releases in the future. But that is to be to be decided what it is. As as in the previous hangout, we mentioned that we want to make sure that we do not go away from we don't steer away from our main goal to keep Phalcon as performant as possible. And as such, we're going to introduce benchmarks for every commit and release. While in between the two hangouts a couple of weeks back and now, Anton has been working on trying to um, integrate some benchmarks straight up into Phalcon or Incubator and other repositories, and he's already identified a couple of bugs that potentially will slow us down. But we've already done that. We sent um, Anton sent issues, opened issues in the relevant repositories in order to be able to get this thing moving. Um, Also, the how do we track changes? We'll definitely create a new project for V5. We're gonna have the same methodology with labels, with issues and all that stuff. We're gonna have some sort of an automatic labeling of issues as soon as they come in. What it is a bug and then a fire and so on and so forth. And we're gonna have to figure out exactly what's going on with. By the way, you're listening to my little one playing in her game. Uh, she's my little buddy here, my coding buddy. She plays on the tablet, and I'm doing the stream. So yeah, we we have to figure out exactly what the additional repositories and how they will play into this. Most likely, there will become sub-modules themselves of Falcon, and we'll be able to just release everything in one go. Um, the incubator in particular, of course, will need to be updated to version 4. We'll do that, and and the question is what we're going to do with the code that exists there. For instance, one of the things that I do remember from the incubator is that there is a database session adapter. Well, what are we going to do with that? Are we going to offer it as a new module that somebody can install with Composer into the session, the main session, or is it something else? So all these things are pretty much organizational decisions that we have to make, and we're going to make them as we go along. But for now, the incubator repository is all the packages in there rather are going to be upgraded to version 4 at least to have everything done, and then we will figure out exactly how they're going to blend in into the whole infrastructure. The additional repos, this part here, pretty much depends on how we're going to organize our code. Okay. And welcome, Jeremy. Nice to see you, buddy. Hi, it's great to see new people on the team. Yes, it is really great to have new blood um, and help from anybody. And we're hoping now with that switching over Falcon to PHP is not going to be a hindrance. It's going to be an advantage because more and more people are more um, adept, if you like, with PHP and will be able to help or even suggest things so that we can fix. Also, continuing on the V5, our focus is to have 100% code coverage. And of course, it's really easy to see this now because there's so many tools from GitLab, from GitHub, from what was it, CodeCove. We also have Scrutinizer. It's so many. There's so many code analyzers out there, and a lot of them are kind of on the free side. So we would like to keep everything 100% code covered. Uh, it it's not usually the code coverage is kind of like a double-edged sword. I know for sure that if for Microsoft, for instance, if you're at 70% or 75% code coverage on your application, they consider it to be fully covered. I've worked with people before, and they would consider code coverage to be a waste of time. Personally, I try to be on the 100 as much as I can, and the reason being, at least for me, is that your code has executed at least once, every single line of them. Now, does that mean that you're gonna capture all the bugs potentially that you're there? No, of course not. And also, it opens the possibility of somebody focusing to get 100% code coverage and missing the picture of building functionality and figuring out exactly where the code is and how the code branches. So it's always a trade-off. You have to make sure that your code is where it needs to be before you keep on the 100% code coverage. It's a long discussion. We said that we're gonna try. All right. Now the code quality has to be at least. We have to try to make it to A, and the question becomes, who decides what that code quality is? Well, for now, we use Scrutinizer just to see certain things, and I'll show you a couple of things here. There's other tools that we can utilize, and of course, if you analyze something with Scrutinizer, it will tell you one thing, and if you take the same thing and analyze it with the second service, it will tell you another thing. So it depends on which one you use. We're gonna try and keep the code quality to A. One of the things, for instance, the code has to be extremely legible. It has to be following our coding standard, and so on and so forth. Um, the V5 will be backwards compatible as much as we can. It might not be 100%, but the idea is that if you switch from V3/V4 to V5, the change that you need to make should not be more than just a normal major change release where people actually do interface changes and all that stuff. Um, that is the idea. Okay, we're gonna see as we go along. For now, we're okay on the compatibility. So what we have right now and what is in the C world as the extension, they're identical. Okay. Again, we're not gonna make many changes. The main design changes on how things are gonna work will be in V6, which will be quite a bit. Again, I wrote this twice. I don't know why. Uh, I don't have coffee, guys. Sorry. Um, we are also considering the packages slash modules to enhance Falcon. I did touch on this a little bit earlier. For instance, in the main repository, we have the Phalcon, the session adapter, and you have um, the Phalcon session, and then on the session you attach an adapter. One of them would be the stream one, which writes into files. The other one would be Redis. Well, we don't have a Mongo adapter. We don't have a database adapter. I know for sure that there is a database adapter in the incubator, and I'm extremely sure that TX will pick it up and write an adapter for Mongo for sessions. But um, how do you do those things? Do you just throw them all in one big repository, so when somebody clones it, they go out for a cup of coffee and then come back in order to figure out how many megabytes you've downloaded? I don't want this to happen um, in terms of people getting all sorts of data and functionality that they will probably never use. I think that the approach that Codeception is using right now is very good with the relevant modules, so you can run your testing suite. But if you want database integration, um, integration tests, if you want databases, you have to install the codeception slash DB module or something. Or if you want APC, you have to install that module and so on and so forth. That's what I want for Falcon. I want people to pick and choose exactly what they want, keep the disk usage to a bare minimum, which will inevitably have really, really good benefits for us. And here's why. Here's why I want this thing to be split. As we program, we take things for granted, right? So, coffee. Perfect. All right. So, as we program, we take things for granted. For instance, I'll give you an example. Falcon recently introduced a class which is called SDR. It's under helper, right? I'm going to show you this is the PHP implementation of this class, right? It is just a static class. It has different things and so on and so forth. All right. Let's say we pick up one of the methods, len, right? Very simple method. People might turn around and say, "Well, why are you even using this? This is MB SDR len wrapped around a method. Well, what are you doing?" The usage of this is a different story. But anyway, let's say you have this method. Okay. This method lives under a static class, which is here. It's called SDR, okay, for string. Now, where I was talking about we become lazy and complacent as people, as coders, is that if I have this method in my main repository and I start coding, this method will be available for me, right? It is static. I can get to it at any given point. So at a totally different area of the framework, I can write something, and then I can say, all right, str colon colon len, right? Now, if I start using, oh, and as such, in the new module that I'm writing, in the new part of the framework that I'm writing, I'm creating a dependency between that part and this method. So for that particular part to work, I need this file to exist. So imagine now if I have a different module. Let's say I'm picking something from the incubator. I mentioned the session DB adapter, and in that DB adapter, I started using the strlen method because I'm lazy, right? I just wanted something really quick. Well, if I do that, I no longer have a modular design. I'm creating a dependency between my module, the incubator, and the main framework, which shouldn't be the case. It should be those things should be split. This way, the module that you're bringing in can become a plug and play. So you just bring it in, it gives you the functionality, and then you just get rid of it if you don't want to. So this is what I was trying to say. We become lazy. Sometimes we don't think um, on a modular design, and in most cases, pretty much, yeah, pretty much all of the cases, I would say, we don't really have to think in a modular design because usually you build an application, and once you build the application, you don't build it in modules, you build the whole thing. And as such, this len method will be available throughout the project. But if you're building a framework and you want to build a modular design where you don't have that many dependencies or you don't have crazy stuff going around, then it makes sense to actually try and do that and keep things separate. So this is the biggest issue that we are going to have, and we're going to make sure that everything is isolated, everything is on its own, so it works as an easy glue component, right? So this was the packages and modules to enhance Falcon, and then lastly, what I mentioned before, the installation of functionality as needed. For instance, the modules of codeception. Okay. Finally, we have this repository. It's called Phalcon. Some of you might have picked it up when I was changing screens. It is private for now, and we will make the repository public as soon as we iron out v4, and as soon as we have created all the issues that we need to do. Of course, one of the biggest challenges that we will have is to replicate the parsers that we have. This one is the Volt, the PHQL, and the annotations parser. Uh, and what do I mean by that? These three parsers have not been written with Zephyr. They have been written with pure C. So what happens is when you have, for instance, PHQL, when you issue a statement yourself in your database, select star from users or whatever, that thing is that whole string is sent to the PHQL parser, and then the PHQL parser returns back a PHP array with everything that you need to do. So you will know where the from is, all the models, where the model is. You will know anywhere. You will know any or conditions, having, between, anything that's there. And by having that array that has split everything the way you want it, you will go and the code goes and executes whatever needs to execute against the database. Okay, so that particular parser needs to be written in PHP. Same thing with Vault, the same thing with annotations. Anton has tried and did significant work on the helper functions of Vault, and he has been trying to kind of like iron out and get a good stab at what is going on with the Vault compiler. For now, we don't know what we were gonna see, but we're getting there. It is one of those things that we have to make sure that everything is nice and ready for us before we even do anything. Now, and get a good stab at what is going on with the Vault compiler.
What else did I want
For
to
now, we don't know what we were gonna see, but okay. All right, I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so this is the focus. Let me show you a couple of things, and of course, any questions for everybody, by all means, start throwing them now. So this is the main organization that we have for Phalcon. As you see, repositories, packages, people, and so on and so forth. Ruud is going to go around and clean up everything in here. So people is gonna be clean, project is gonna be cleaned, and so on and so forth. A new project will start here, which will be the Phalcon V5, which will have um, also linked repositories, but it will have Phalcon instead of C Phalcon. Okay. Um, this is the new repository that we created. You see, so far we got one star, and let me show it to you. It's for now it is private, uh, and we have put the main core of what we're gonna have here. We hooked up GitHub Actions. We're following what it's called the PDS standard. It is a standard that has been adopted by quite a few projects, not all of them, but it is a standard where all composer related packages have exactly the same structure. And here's where I'm going with this. Everybody has seen different composer enabled projects that some of them will have src as where the code is, some of them will have libraries, some of them will have everything in the main folder, and it makes it difficult for you if you're looking at those projects to figure out where the tests are, where any resources are, where any documentation is, and so on and so forth. The PDS standard allows you to have a structure of sorts. I mean, it's not obligatory. We just picked it up here, and you can use any of these, and it's very easy for people to see where things are. Okay. scrutinizer, of course. Change log, we just didn't do much. Contribution guide, this one is empty as well. License, readme, code exception, and composer things. With composer, you're gonna see that this is what we're gonna offer. All these PSR compatibilities. It's gonna start for now greater than 7 or equal than 7.4 and less than 8. I'm not 100% sure about the less than 8, but we're gonna get to that. This one, the APCU, I'm not 100% sure if we're gonna need it. I left it there for now. Same thing with Redis, those two, because I want to make sure that these two are desperately needed the way they are, or they could be added as modules as we come along. All right, so it's it's on one of those things that we play along as we go, and the PSR compatibility, and down here are the things that we include. And this is what I was talking about here. You can see it, the modules that I've been talking about codeception. So for those that haven't used codeception or don't know what it is, so you load the main module and whatever you want. After that, you load it as a module. So any assertions you have to load that the module asserts. Redis, another module. DB, another module. APC, another module. So I love this functionality. It makes things very easy and extremely maintainable. And it does allow you to split your code and keep your code in very very tiny chunks instead of being a big monstrosity or something. Autoloader here for our tests, and our coding standard. The coding standard is pretty much PSR 12. All right, we have only um, one change here because code exception has the underscores in some of their methods. So far we have the Phalcon autoloader that has been um, converted, if you like, from the PSR stuff. All these other PSR related classes will be changed. And remember, I showed you a side project that I had called Cardo that has this kind of functionality. So slowly these things will be moving on. The coverage and code quality and all that stuff comes from here, from Scrutinizer. And as you can see, certain things are not rated as they should be, meaning A. So this method here, the friendly, for those that have been with Phalcon for quite a while, this is friendly title from the tag component, um, and it changes your title to be URL friendly. Um, hey Oleg, hello. I'm not very happy with this implementation. I might change it a little bit just to make sure that everything is fine. Um, and the reason I'm saying I'm not happy is that I don't know why, but I have a preg replace here and then another preg replace here. And they might look a little bit similar, but I'm pretty sure that we can do something to merge this one with this one, and maybe keep the the lowercase somewhere else. I don't know. It seems a little bit too convoluted, too complex, and also there is another one, another method. Where is it? Hotspots. There you go. The group trait. The group trait is interesting because it works on an array and it tries to group array elements together. And for now, I have not figured out a way to make this thing look better. Most likely, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it. If you see, it has a for each, and it has if, three branches. And of course, this is difficult code to read. You have ifs inside an array, inside a loop rather. So what I was thinking of is maybe I'll take this first part and put it in its own little loop, and then do the other two. Yeah, just thoughts of how to make this thing better in terms of looking at. But in short, there's only one bug here, allegedly. Um, and this bug is it cannot parse something. I don't know why this thing exists there. But in short, we're at 9.787, and there's 100% code coverage, right? And unfortunately, this is just three classes or something. But this is how much I had time to devote and put things in here. So slowly, this thing we will be adding more and more stuff in here. And what I was saying earlier about the issues, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take every single namespace that we have in Phalcon and just create it here as an issue, and from that we could create sub issues. So, for instance, I gave you the idea about the helper namespace and the helper classes. That's not a huge task, but once you start going into the Falcon MVC, then you have a lot of stuff under that namespace. So we could potentially create an MVC one, and then underneath MVC view, MVC validation, and whatever. All those namespaces, just trying to keep everything together. Uh, so that's quite a bit of work that is going on in the back end, so that you guys don't think that we're slacking. I mean, the only one that slacks, truth be told, is just rude, but that's just me saying. So yeah, that's uh, that's all there is to it. The normal stuff from us, and more than happy to hear any questions or any concerns that you guys have. Excuse me. So for now, what do you recommend to do in order to contribute to Falcon? Wait for V5 to be public. Um, there's two things that I would say, Jeremy. Jeremy asked this question. There's two things that we could do. The first thing is we're gonna need some help to ensure that all the incubator projects are V4 compatible. There are not that many out there, so a little bit of coordination between everybody. I'm pretty sure we can knock this thing out in less than a week or two, everything out. Having done the work for incubator actually gives preparation for V5, right? Um, I think the best way to go with that is there, and then again wait until V5 is public. This repository is public, which honestly, I think all of us, the Falcon ones, need to check whether we should actually make this thing public or not. I would like to wait a little bit until we have a clear idea of what will be fixed for V4 and what will not. So maybe a week or two, the latest. We can have our own hangout and just sit down and say, okay, we're gonna fix this, and at least know what is the life of V4 in terms of bug fixes and a new release. Okay, once that is done, then of course we can uh, uh, we can all go to V5, because then you're gonna know, okay, I fixed these things, I've done my release, I'm waiting to see if somebody has any bugs, but at the same time I can work on this one. Um, Jeremy, I can make this private right now, public right now. Honestly, um, I don't want to muddle the waters. I don't want people that are on V4 to feel that they're completely left out to dry. Even though the idea is that when you have V4, once you plug in V5, the changes that you would make would be negligible. Okay, so that's the idea. And if you actually look here, let me just give a very small um, comparison here. So let's say, the JSON class, right? That's gonna be really easy to see. Come on, come on. Did it pick up again? Can you hear me, guys, on the stream now? Or oh, it's okay. All right,
Hmm.
great. All right, man. Seriously, technology. In the past we used to say, "Ah, Microsoft." Now what do we say? Google. Okay. So what I was saying, what I was showing earlier, and apologies, I don't know where the stream cut. This here on the left side, well, on this side, this is the decode method that we have on the JSON helper class. And as you see, it has data, associative, depth, and options, string, boolean, integer in terms of var, which is a mixed. And then all you do is you JSON decode this. If you have an error, throw an exception. If not, return. And the PHP is string, boolean, integer. Run this, any exception, and that's it. That's all you have to do. So these two, whether this is um, from PHP side or from Zephyr side, these are going to be identical. But having said that, a lot of these things here might not be 100% compatible. So we have to make sure that they are, right? Um, because certain things do happen in Zephyr and certain things do happen in PHP, things that you could do. Now, the other benefit that we have with flipping over to PHP is that we can use traits. And traits are excellent to reuse code, but also they're excellent to split your code into smaller chunks that are more manageable. And it's not necessary, of course. It kind of like it's a side effect of using traits. But here's where I'm getting with this. For instance, this ARR, for those that have used V4, they have seen this method, this class rather. This array class actually has a lot of methods in here, and it just does array manipulation. So it gives you the first element, it filters things, it gives you the first key, it tells you if the array is unique, it gives you the last element, so on and so forth, right? Uh, it, if you have this class is going to be rated as B, and the reason being is that it's 700 lines of code. Okay, it's a lot of methods that you can use. So because I'm a little bit anal, I don't want to have B's in the code. I want everything to be nice. What I've done is I've used traits, two traits. So if I go here, here, uh, I created something called transform trait. It's an array to map to the array, and in here I have the methods that transform things. So this is my namespace, of course. So what are the transformations? So blacklist is uh, what do we do is it filters by key and it will exclude elements from an array that we have passed from my blacklist. Okay. And then chunk, give me chunks of the array, flatten the array. These are transformations. So they grab the array as you pass it in, and then they transform it to something. That's why I called it, order, and then pluck, and then slice left, slice right, and then split. Okay, that doesn't change the namespace at all because they exist in the ARR class, but right now 250 lines of code went into a different file, and I can control my code a little bit better. And this element trait has the get, has, set. So it has to do with elements of the array. These are just arbitrary. We just put them in there. It kind of like gives you another idea of how you could do things. Another thing that I want to figure out is what to do with the exceptions, whether we're gonna keep exceptions per namespace or something else. I don't know. It's things to do, and I'm pretty sure that the community will have a lot of input on this, and we can see where we can go with the project and how we can go with the project. A lot of work to be done, of course. Um, the changelog has to be maintained, contributing has to be maintained, new issues to be created here. We're gonna pretty much lock the master branch now. I've been kind of like arbitrarily pushing to the master branch, uh, but pretty much what we have on the C Phalcon repo is gonna be here too. So restrictions on master branch for releases, restrictions on other branches, no NFRs, no stuff without an issue and without discussion. I definitely don't want this to grow out of proportion by means of, oh, I thought of something. That would be a great idea to put it in the framework. I create my issue, and then 20 minutes later, I create an FR for this new functionality to be put in, whereas you're the only one using it and nobody else. So that is all organizational. It will come at some point. And this is where we are right now. So, uh, Jeremy, again, to wait, we're gonna wait a little bit. Let's say now is the 6th. Let's say close to a couple of weeks. Let's put a couple of weeks so that we have enough time. Let's wait until 4.1 is done. Then we're gonna start doing all these things here with regards to all the issues, labels, put things in here, and just make sure that the community has the opportunity to move on. And the other thing that Jeremy pretty much alluded to a little bit, once this thing is done, we're gonna have a part of our focus to get 4.1 out, right? But uh, if my focus, let's say, is in fixing the last 5 bugs or whatever that is, at the same time, others can be working on this. So, for instance, Jeremy could actually pick, let's find something difficult, can pick up the security component, right? Security component, as you can see here, has only one thing, the random that comes in here. It has some sort of a easy methods. It's not crazy. I mean, if you look at it, it's just what 300 lines of code, and you just look at these, and it's not difficult to fix. And then pick up this security here too, and then you have all these algorithms. So you can just pretty much uh, rewrite this whole thing. And now a lot of these components um, are gonna be a little bit difficult to figure them out, and here's why. So this is a class, right? And it extends the abstract injection aware. Okay. Also, it makes use of this manager interface, the session manager interface. Well, in order for you to write this thing, start writing this thing, this interface and this interface must exist in your code. So now you see how classes interrelate with others. At a bare minimum, I need to know, PHP will need to know what the session interface is and what request interface is, even if you pass null, even if you don't even use those. So this is what I was saying, that we should move these things. Maybe I didn't give the perfect example for this, but it gives you an idea what you can do in order um, to help the project. And we could definitely all group together and get this thing sorted out very quickly. Um, One thing that I do see here is we will need to decide a little bit more on the crypt method and no, on the security component and the password hashing. I would like to use PHP's password related methods, because then you could use the Argon 2, and additional methods. I do love bcrypt because it's very strong. So a discussion should ensue with this part here. All right. Um, this is definitely something that is going to be community driven, and any decision we make will have to come from you guys. So it is my hope that all these here are going to become little modules that everybody could use, and then I could get my um, development tools guru, Mr. Jeckerson, to create some sort of a little wizard with dev tools, and then you can just say, okay, what do you want? You say a Phalcon project. All right, good. Are you going to use the database? Yes. All right, so press one. And then are you going to use whatever? MySQL? No, I'm going to use Mongo. All right, press 3 or something. And then you just go through this little wizard, and then it gives you the commands that you need to run in order to import all the modules that you want, and there's your application. That's my dream, but it's early days yet. So, yeah, that's the deal that we have here. Any other questions, guys? Ta-da. So you see the little commits that I've been doing here. I like Scrutinizer personally because it even looks after your comments, and if the doc blocks are okay. I know that there is a different service as well. Uh, which one was it? Code something? No. Hold on a sec. It should be here. It's which one is this? There's another service that we have. Where is it? Codacy. All right. Uh, and that is also an analyzer. So let's log in with this. And if you go to Phalcon, DevTools with Alexa. Hey Alexa, make a file. That is excellent. Yes. Hey, there you go. Let's push Anton to do this for us. Okay. Well, the repository is not here because it's not public. You know what? Let's make it public. So what? For now, public. All right. So now it's public, and I'm wondering if this one would. If you already did, but still don't see them, refresh the list. Where do you refresh the list? Uh, there you go. I was never able to find it in here. I don't know why, but. And I think that. Where is the applications? Manage access here, maybe? Just us. connection. Da, da, da. I don't know why this thing will not pick things up. Do I need to do it? Does anybody know how this thing refreshes? Just that repository to Codacy? Really? Is it that easy? Come on, it cannot be that easy, Alexander. Ugh, Lord. Please tell me it wasn't that easy. Ugh, come on, man. Ugh. I'm stupid. Sorry. Thanks, buddy. Alright, so it's cloning. Okay, so I don't want to talk to Evo. Thank you, Evo. So let's see the chat. Mega Developers, well, I lost. Jeremy then after work done. Hey Alexa, publish to AWS. Yes, that would be great. Can you imagine? Alexa, run CI or something. Alexa, do this or do that. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody doesn't do something like that. Yeah, yeah, of course. But it's gonna be really great to have. Now I know that what I mentioned earlier is true. The code analysis that Codacy um, offers is gonna be different than the code analysis that Scrutinizer offers. No, not yeah, isn't it? Not yeah, Scrutinizer. This one. So this rating here could very well be completely different up here, right? Oh, great. 325 total issues, right? So you see here, it could very well be things that I have not done anything, unused code, for instance. All right, so it says expect throwable, assert regex. Okay, so what it did is it analyzed this namespace here, which shouldn't. So I have to make sure that it doesn't get used. And here in the coding style, we have this. We have the functions, stuff, very, very tiny stuff like that. But also, we're gonna have the fixtures that are gonna be a problem, and the fixtures have to be there in order to be able to work with. Also, get rid of the underscore support namespace. So once those are done and you get rid of in the Codacy, you get rid of uh, the repos that you do not, sorry, the paths that you do not want them to be analyzed. Then I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a little bit uh, more area here. I'm guessing here to set up your code coverage here, this should be similar to Scrutinizer. The way we've done this, so that in case you guys wonder, where is it? So we have GitHub Actions here from this workflow. So the static code analyzer runs first, and then the testing suite runs and just does whatever it needs to do. And then at the very end, where is it? Somewhere here. It uploads the code coverage uh, to Scrutinizer. Alright, so this coverage XML file gets created by running Codeception and GitHub Actions, and then this file gets uploaded to Scrutinizer. I don't know. I'm guessing that Codacy has the same thing, so you don't have to run the tests twice. You could potentially upload the code and then they will figure this out. But these are things that we need to test. Also, I'd like to see what we can do with GitLab, because we have this crazy, uh, very generous project that they gave us the open source license, and I don't know how many minutes we have. We have a hell of a lot of minutes in GitLab, so we'll have to decide what we have, what we're gonna use. Okay, so that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Yeah, 50,000 minutes for CI, and we barely use those. But yeah, we could do that. We could do the GitHub actions, which is also really good. So definitely work on streamlining our processes in a way that everything is perfectly fine. I know that with also with GitHub actions we can actually do releases. So you could potentially just run something and then lo and behold there's your release. So more on that later. So guys, anything else? We are, as with tradition, we're over an hour. It was supposed to be kind of like an hour ish. uh 4.1 by November. So it's September now, right? I am hoping uh I'm hoping to have 4.1 by October. So before that. So Max Castro, I needed before we go. So can we expect Falcon 5 by end of year and 4.1 by November? Um, the faster we can identify the issues that we're gonna address for 4.1, the faster we're gonna have 4.1 out, and that would give us a lot of time to ensure that there's no bugs, there's nothing else that just came up after the release of 4.1. 4.0 is relatively okay. We haven't seen any crazy things coming up. Um, so and any small bugs that have been fixed or will be fixed very shortly. So once we get once Rude and us work on setting up all the issues on what will be fixed and what will be left, we should organize that and get everything out of the door. So I'm hoping before November for 4.1, and at the same time start working on 5.0. And it will depend on how fast we can get everything sorted out. As I mentioned, the biggest problem will be the parsers, the PHQL parsers, how to make them understand what uh, what Falcon says. Um, if those were not an issue, absolutely, I would commit that by before even before end of year we would have version 5 out. But let's see how that works. It is a really tricky thing to do. We will definitely need some help from Sergey to tell us certain things that do happen in those C files, and hopefully we're gonna get where we need to go in order to be able to parse either PHQL or Volt or annotations. So, Jeremy, thanks for the organization, all the work in progress, and this hangout. It's important for me to know where Falcon goes. Yeah, well, we're not going anywhere. Definitely trying to keep everybody happy, and people put in a lot of time and energy for behind this project. And there's always the little hobby projects that people go like, hey, well, whatever. But there's also companies that rely on this, and I know for sure a couple of them myself. Where I work, we use Falcon too, so we definitely need to ensure that everybody is where they need to be, and they're comfortable with what we're doing. Um, like I said, the main goal is to transition from V4 to V5 with pretty much nothing to change. Now, one thing I wanted to also point out with the introduction of benchmarks that Jickerson is working on, we're gonna make sure that if there is any performance drop for whatever reason, of course there will be some performance drop, but if there is some performance drop that cannot be recovered by different programming techniques or usage of PHP the way it is right now, PHP 7.4, we're gonna try and make sure that everything is how should I put this? We're gonna try and make sure that you guys know where the performance drops, and if it does. So making keeping Falcon oriented towards the performance is really important to us. There's no point in having a framework and using a framework if it's gonna be slow, or if you're gonna have to have this crazy AWS server in order to maintain some speed. So anything that we do will actually be towards making sure that everything is fine for you guys performance wise. I'm just clicking different things here. All right. Any other any other pieces of information, guys, that you guys want? All right. Uh, so I guess it's time to say goodbye. All right. Thank you so much, guys, everybody, for coming over. Thank you all for the support. And see you on the battlefield, I guess. um, all right. Shutting down, and we'll talk all online again. All right. Take care, guys.